100 grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. The Indiana Pacers are in the NBA Finals. Um, I was pretty confident that they were going to be able to dispatch the Knicks. When I saw Game Five, I said, "Oh, okay. Pacers are." They were just tired. They were exhausted. Emotional Game Four. Got the win that they needed, and I think to an extent, Tyrese Halliburton. I don't think he's ever had this type of a load to be able to score offensively while also carrying the offense and distributing the ball, facilitating 15 assists to zero turnover type of performances. Um, I think he was just a little bit tired last game. I don't think it was a matter of what they were going to be capable of doing in game six. New York came out hot. They won the last game. And now, this game today, they fell short. But here's the thing, there's some things that were exposed throughout these playoffs so far with the Indiana Pacers and Myles Turner in specific. Because there's been a lot of chatter, man, so much chatter about the Detroit Pistons going after Myles Turner. They see the 3-point shooting, and I get it. 3-point shooting is sexy. It's sexy as hell. It's become the new dunk, right? You see somebody hit a nice jumper, it's just wet. Oh shit, man. Just hit another one. They ain't look clean. But I think for a lot of fans, it's like you forget there's other things that constitute, basketball, the game of basketball, that has tremendous impact. And when you begin to add up all these different elements of basketball and you weigh it up against the ability to shoot, you know what I mean? Like, you have to really understand what you're looking at. Leading Lions was good, my man. The Pacers game was good, man. It was dope. It was dope. I hope my man Jarris Walker gets healthy. Hope he's able to play in the finals. I loved what he was able to do in that game. Honestly, I thought Jarris Walker should have been playing instead of Ben Shepherd. His defensive versatility, seeing him be able to move his feet against Jalen Brunson all the way through Karl Anthony Towns, I think he probably impeded Karl Anthony Towns getting to the basket, even though he fouled him on that last play and rolled his ankle. But what I saw from him was a guy that I always kind of knew defensively was going to be able to defend 1 through 5, and that's a rare, extremely rare um, element for any front court player to have. But here's the topic of conversation for today. So many people have been clamoring for a 3-point shooting big, and I get it. 3-point shooting bigs, they're all the rave. But I think the reality is, I think a lot of us, what we're really saying is we want Nikola Jokic. We want a healthy Joel Embiid. We want a guy who's also good enough to take care of the interior, the rebounding, screen setting, the physicality, defend the rim, score on the interior, be able to post up, things like that, and also space the floor from three. I think that's what we're really saying. We're not really saying we want to give up all these other important areas for the game of basketball, especially for a center. But when people start throwing out Miles Turner's name, I want y'all to realize this is who he is. This is who he is. He's got great touch on that jump shot. Beautiful touch. And every once in a while, he can block some shots. He's not what he used to be, but he can block some shots. And at the same time, Miles Turner is a cone on defense. He literally looks like he's walking on stilts. What's good, man? I know it's a business, but why would Miles be attracted to coming to Detroit? He seems like he's a faithful enough Pacer to not want to come here out of a rivalry Pacers had with Detroit last year. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's happened. If anything, he's saying he's open because that's what his agent is going to tell him to say. His agent's going to tell him to say, "Hey, you know what? Uh, pretend to be available for everyone. That maximizes team's interest, which drives up the cost." And I get that. I get that. But he's not coming to Detroit. Indiana's not going to do a sign and trade with Detroit. They don't want to, unless Turner's like, I want to go to Detroit and no other place, right? But I doubt that's the situation. I think they get a deal done. But what I've been trying to point out is Miles Turner has some clear limitations as a center. And we have to think about what we're trading. when we're thinking about trading for a guy. Like, what is he giving us? And what are we losing? Right? One of the things that I'll tell you that you're losing, that was just obvious, glaringly obvious, is you're losing rebounding. Miles Turner played 21 minutes in this game, had 2 rebounds. Two. Two. His main backups were Thomas Bryant and what's my man's name? I'm gonna forget his name because I gotta give him props. He actually stepped in, gave him some valuable minutes. Pull it up real quick. Tony Bradley. Tony Bradley. Those are his backups. Tony Bradley and Thomas Bryant. If Miles Turner was a $30 million a year player, and those are your backups, and the front line that you're going up against, Carl Anthony Towns at 7 feet, Mitchell Robinson at 7'2", 7'3", two behemoths, big, physical, 260 plus pounds. You needed all the size you can get. And Miles Turner was the biggest big man they had. He only played 21 minutes in this closeout game. If he was a $30 million player, he would have played 40. He would have played 38, 39, not 21 minutes. I'm going to read y'all some of these stats, man. I'm going to read y'all some of these stats because I think it's important that when we're having this conversation around Miles Turner getting a stretch center, because it's going to extend out to Nas Reed and everyone else is going to be thrown the Detroit Pistons way. And some of y'all are so caught up in wanting to get to a championship immediately. And I get it. You get to play all these video games, NBA 2K, you get to be my GM, you get to do all these mock trades, and there's so much information flowing. And all of us believe that we can figure out how to bring a team to a championship. One thing I keep telling you guys over and over is that it is hard as hell to win a championship. It is extremely hard. It is painstakingly grueling. I mean, it is practically playing the lottery. You have to, so many things have to go right. You're rolling those dice and just like, hopefully everybody at the end of this season's healthy. We're playing well. We got a good seed in. We're not matched up against the one team who plays us perfectly against all of our weaknesses and neutralizes all of our strengths. I hope, and you're holding your fingers, twisting your fingers, and you hopefully get a good lineup, a good matchup in the playoffs. You're hoping you have the best player in a series. You're hoping that you have somebody who can combat that other guy on the other side. It's hard as hell to win a championship. So the idea that, oh, if we just get a stretch center, if we just get a center who can shoot threes and make threes, it solves everything for us. Let me get to some of these stats about Miles Turner. Miles Turner, he's had a good year. 16 points a game, 6.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 2 blocks. Really good, right? Only 1.7 turnovers. Only 2.5 fouls. That's really good. He averaged 30 minutes a game this season, which is pretty good for an NBA center. You love marketing here. I think we all would. I think we all would. But I don't think any of us are willing to give up what Utah and Danny Ainge would try to demand in order to get him. But let's just look at what he's done in this series against the Knicks. He played, let me see, 24 minutes the game before this one, 21 minutes in this game, then 33, 33, 33, 31. All right, let's look at these rebounds. 2 rebounds in game 5, 1 rebound. No, sorry, 2 rebounds in game 5, 3 rebounds in game 4, 4 rebounds in game 3, 3 rebounds in game 2, 5 rebounds in game 1. He wasn't able to give you more than 5 rebounds. Those first 3 games he played 33, 31, 33, 33. No, the first 4 games, 31, 33, 33, and 33 minutes, and only gave you 5 rebounds once in the first game. That's a problem. That's a problem. Do you know how much of their offense was stymied because they could not secure a rebound? They couldn't get their fast break started. They couldn't get out ahead of the Knicks, beat them down court in transition to exploit their weakness. Of course, the genius of Rick Carlisle, he's going to figure out different ways, quick inbounds. Hey, guys, get the rebound, snatch, go. But the fact that they're playing Obi Toppin over you, Miles Turner, when they want to make their run. You see, I think there's something that people don't really watch. They look at the stats and they go like, "Oh man, this dude's awesome." They didn't realize last year in the NBA Western Conference Finals, the Minnesota Timberwolves could not play Karl Anthony Towns in critical moments in the Western Conference Finals in those closeout games. Down the stretch in close games, they could not play him. He was unplayable. He was on the bench. It's too much of a liability. Thank God Indiana never deployed sending double teams at Karl Anthony Towns, forcing him to make quick decisions and then rotating. If they had ever gone big, right, with Obi Toppin, Pascal Siakam, Miles Turner, a lineup they've gone to plenty of other times. If they had gone with Jarris Walker earlier throughout this series, playing the three, and Aaron Nesmith, I mean, how many more problems they could have caused with added length and athleticism and defensive anticipation and physicality and rebounding. All this to say is, you guys want to give up Jalen Duren. Let me make sure you guys understand this. Miles Turner is 29 years old. Just turned 29. He's at the peak. He's at his peak. This team has looked as good as they have because of Pascal Siakam, though, and Tyrese Halliburton. So you want to pay $30+ million for a center who won't rebound when you need it the most in the playoffs, and is at times an absolute cone on defense the moment he's brought out to the perimeter. And you want to trade him for the 21-year-old Jalen Duren. Do you know how fast Indiana would do that trade? Do you know how quickly the Indiana Pacers would say yes? These are things that you need to think about. These are things you need to consider. When I think about what Detroit basketball is about physicality, hard hat, grind, um, lay the wood, all those euphemisms for playing physical. That's not Miles Turner, bro. That's not Miles Turner. I hope you realize that you're getting a softie. You're getting a softie. Karl Anthony Towns had no amazing moves against Miles Turner. It wasn't back down, spin back over the right shoulder, up, under, spin back, fade away like Nikola Jokic does against Gobert. You realize a defender like Gobert forces Jokic to go to deep in his bag with 3, 4 different alternative shot options. When the first one's taken away, the second one's taken away, and then maybe the third or fourth works. He's just extremely efficient. Miles Turner never even forced Karl Anthony Towns to go to an alternate shot. He didn't force him into trying to give him some jump hooks and back down with the, turnaround fadeaways. There was no savvy up and under moves. He just literally went right past him in a straight line. One of the worst forms of you should never ever be able to give up a straight line drive. It's one thing if you're in rotation, the ball's getting swung around, someone had to help. Now you got to rotate from one guy to the next. Okay, you're coming at the, offensive player who's getting the ball really fast, really hard. Next thing you know, okay, you're behind the play a little bit and you get attacked straight line. They do a quick move and straight line. Okay, that's one thing. When your man is getting the ball, faces up with you, looks you dead in the face, right? Gives you the Jordan palm in your face. You know what I mean? Like put the ball on your forehead, right? And just literally just blow past. It should never happen. Should never happen. I know who it didn't happen to. Jalen Duren. Jalen Duren. Didn't happen to him at all. Going up against Carl Anthony Towns. We did not have this issue. Mitchell Robinson gave us a little bit of issue after Isaiah Stewart went down. And Paul Reed, he gave us issues. For sure. But when Jalen Duren was in, there was no issue. There was no issue. Get to some of these comments. Let me see. Yep, we'd all love Lori Markkinen. They want to give Ivy up for some better made chips. Oh God. You know, I have no idea. I have no idea what some of these folks are thinking. I love marketing. Yep. Leading Lions. I think the price for marketing would be uh, down from Danny Ainge. Yeah, it would be too high. I'm confident we have a great off season. What's good, calm guys? Good to see you in the chat, my man. Uh, I think we do have a great off season. Um, we could be in the mix, and anybody who wants Miles Turner for JD should delete their YouTube channels. Thank you. Thought I was the only, but I was just seeing it so much, bro. I was seeing it so much on these timelines. I was like, is this really what people think? Like, just because a guy can shoot threes doesn't mean he's good at all these other things. And you have to add up the other things that they don't do to ask if it's worth the thing that he does do. Right? Porzingis, great three-point shooter, shot blocker around the rim, bit of a cone on the perimeter, decent rebounder, a little bit more physical than, but he got absolutely demolished by Towns and Mitchell Robinson as well. But he had some weird bird flu. I don't know, COVID, something. I have no idea what he was dealing with. But he's only available for maybe 30 games a year. Okay, so that's not really an option, right? You have to ask yourself, is it worth it? Is it worth it? Because right now, Jalen Duren just played. Let me get my stats. I believe he played 78 games this season. Let me pull it up. Let me pull it up. Pull it up. Jalen Duren. How many games did you give me, my man? How many games did you give me? You gave me 78 games. 21 years old. So you have a big man who's been productive, the ninth percentile defensive percentile, something like that, win share, some I don't know. Some defensive metric, he was top 9 amongst centers in the league. Now I think a lot of that had to do with the insertion of Asar Thompson into the starting lineup. All that's to say though is when he has other good defenders, he's able to defend a lot better, and he got to that percentage. But when you think about just how valuable he is at 21 years old, already here, right? Asar Thompson's not leaving this starting lineup again, right? Knock on wood, God willing, please don't trade him, right? Jalen Duren is going to be a good defender for the rest of his career, playing alongside Asar Thompson, Cade Cunningham. We probably try to get somebody like PJ Washington and trade for him. I keep saying I love this trade. Dennis Schroeder, Dennis Schroeder, maybe some money from Tecchio, or maybe throw in a draft pick and go get PJ Washington. Go get PJ Washington. I think that would be an incredible pickup. Incredible pickup. Let me see. Yeah, definitely not giving up Durham for Miles, but some folks, bro. I get in the first half of the season. I told y'all to wait for me. I said, wait, hold on. In the first half of the season, when everybody wanted him gone, I said, just give him time. And then I saw Sarah Thompson start playing, and I said, I think I figured something out. I called it. Go back and look in the annals. I might even tag it in this video. Go back and look. I said, Asar Thompson is the perimeter defender that buys Jalen Duren that extra second to process what's taking place on the court and make the correct decision. Jalen Duren is probably never going to be a high processing defensive center, meaning the ability to anticipate, the ability to get out ahead of the play, see things developing, a la Draymond Green or Anthony Davis, and be able to instruct the rest of the team. You go here, watch out for this, and then you're orchestrating the whole thing. He's never going to be Rudy Gobert. But with good perimeter defenders, Jalen Duren can be a high level defender because of his verticality, his physicality, his strength, his long arms, getting his hands on loose balls and deflections, blocking shots at the rim. He's athletic. He's starting to give great effort. He can still be an extremely high quality defensive big. Do you know what Indiana would have given to have had a high quality defensive big who can secure rebound? How many times did he have double digit rebounds against the New York Knicks in the playoffs? Let me scroll up here. Let me scroll. Let me get these stats for y'all. Playing 37 minutes, 32 minutes, 38 minutes, 33 minutes, and 39 minutes. 39 minutes. When I need you the most, I'm going to play you the most. Closeout game, Myles Turner got 21 minutes. That says something. That says something. Got 24 last game. Right? It says something. But then what did he do? What did Jalen Duren do in no less than 32 minutes? He gave you 13 rebounds, 8 rebounds, 17 rebounds, 14 rebounds. His lowest rebounding game was 6. But in that game, he also gave you 3 assists, then 6 assists, 4 assists, 3 assists, 2 assists, blocks, 2 blocks, 2 blocks, 3 blocks, 21 points, 9 points, 6 points, 16 points, 12 points. But maybe you guys are saying, hey, Myles Turner, he's the shooter, right? He's the shooter. Okay, let's go back. Let's see what Myles Turner gave the Indiana Pacers against the Knicks. The shooter. He gave them 5 points, 13 points, 19, 16, 14. He's giving you a little bit of points. Giving you a little bit of points. And it's nothing to sneeze at. 19 points, 16 points, 14, 13. It's nothing to sneeze at. That's solid. That's solid. But if you're thinking about paying somebody 30 plus $1 million a year, they better be giving you Pascal Siakam money. I'm sorry, production for that money. They better be giving you. You see, he's the type of contract that immediately becomes an overpay that haunts your franchise, that haunts you because he was good enough for you to justify paying him that much money. But the moment he falls off, or the moment you ask him to do more along the lines of what you're paying him, he immediately becomes an overpay. And then it becomes glaring how much he's an overpay the moment you need him the most and he's not able to deliver. That's what happens. That's what happens. Let me get to some of these comments. Let me see. Let me see. Yeah. Chiefy Holiday. What's good, my man? Would have been nice if Quentin Grimes worked out when he was here. I think so too. Tim helped us, but looking back, Grimes was Detroit basketball, in my opinion. I think he was Detroit basketball through and through. We weren't playing Detroit basketball last season, which is why I respect he wanted to get the hell out of there. Sometimes you got to respect somebody who wants to get out of a toxic situation and wants to go win and be in a good situation. That's a good sign, y'all. That's a good sign. Guys who are like, yeah, I just want to stick around for the team and I believe in this group, and everything is not telling you that's what you should do, especially when it's a contract year. I get it. I don't hold none of that against Quentin Grimes. I hold more against Ty Jerome for talking shit about JB Bickerstaff as if it was his fault that they lost and they had the same outcome last year or this year that they had last year. So I hold more against a Ty Jerome than I do a Quentin Grimes. I would re-sign Quentin Grimes in a heartbeat. Stick him between Marcus Sasser, who he played with at the University of Houston, so they should have great chemistry. That's two dogs on defense who can play in the half court, play in transition. They move well without the ball, knock down shooters. They're dogs on defense, right? It'd be a match made in heaven. I would take that money. I would take that Beasley money in a heartbeat. Yo, if Trajan Langdon or anybody in his front office hears this video, I would take the Beasley, Tim Hardaway Jr. money, Schroeder money, and throw that Quentin Grimes. I think he's 24 years old, only a year older than Cade Cunningham. I think he was in the same draft, if I'm not mistaken. He might have been in the same draft. He's a guy. He's a guy. Let me explain what it means that he's a guy. He's a guy you can call on in the playoffs and trust him. You can trust him to not only make the right play, but he can make the play. There's a difference. See, these are like basketball terms, like if you know, you know. I'm gonna school y'all for who may not know. What it means to be a guy means to be someone that you can spot in a crowd and say, in a tough game, I could roll with him. He's gonna make plays. He knows how to dig in and help us get the win in a tough game. He knows what to do. I ain't have to worry about him. He's going to box out. He's going to get that loose ball. He's going to get the rebound. He knows when to foul the right guy at the right time, like fouling Mitchell Robinson under the hoop instead of letting him go up for a dunk, right? Put him on the free throw line because you know he's a bad free throw shooter. You're processing in real time, right? You know how to guard Brunson. You know, don't do like Ben Shepherd and just put a hand up and stay 5-6 feet off of him so he could just shoot right over you like a cone or drive straight into you and you give up a straight line drive. Ben Shepherd should not be playing. I'm gonna be honest with you. He really should not be playing. He's not a guy. He's not a guy. He hit some shots. His defense was horrendous. He was food for Jalen Brunson and the rest of these guys. He's not physical enough. He's not athletic enough. He's not able to make the plays. And too often he's passing up threes when he's supposed to be a shooter. Landry Shamet knows if they kick that ball out to you after getting double teamed from your guy, your job is to let that go. You're supposed to let that go. And that thing is supposed to be up and at it. They need to know they got to worry about you. You don't really have to check for Ben Shepherd. He's not a guy. You know who you got to check for, though? It's that OG Anunoby cat. Oh, you better check for him. That dude's not playing. Leave him open, right? He's not playing. That's a guy. That's a guy. He's going to make plays. Quentin Grimes is a guy who's going to make plays. Myles Turner. Myles Turner. Is he a guy? Is he somebody in the playoffs? When you're trying to make a run, you can look to him and be like, I need you to make a play. I need you to make a play. Whether it's on offense, on defense, you're going to make a play. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes he gets the block. Most of the time, he just gets driven right past. Now, I think it should help him that in this series coming up against Oklahoma City, he's going to be matched up against Isaiah Hartenstein. Isaiah Hartenstein, I think, is going to demolish him on the boards, but at least because Hartenstein is limited offensively, Myles Turner won't have as much responsibility. He will have to deal with SGA in the pick and roll. SGA is going to come for his ass. All right. I get it. I get it. But and so is Jalen Williams, J Dub. But at least the man he's specifically going to be lined up against. Chet Holmgren might try to drive right up, but I think the advantage with Karl Anthony Towns, he was just more physical. I don't think Chet Holmgren is going to have that physicality advantage. He will have athletic ability, the ability to create angles, and the way you see Myles Turner on stilts, just trying to do this, looking like a crane out there. Yo, I think Chet Holmgren is gonna give him the hit, hit, and have that boy drifting on skates like yee. And he's going out that way, and Chet is like yeah, and going right to the rack. I think I'm already calling that. Chet matched up against him is gonna be ugly work. Ugly work. I think they're gonna hunt that matchup as much as possible. All this to say is, I'm not saying Miles Turner is a bad player. He's giving you double digits throughout the first 4 games of the series. Um, double digit scoring, that is. But couldn't give you more than, what was it, 4, 6 rebounds? Yeah, he gave you 5 rebounds in game one. Never hit 5 rebounds again. Grabbed 3, 4, 3, 2. I think he had like 2 tonight. Is that what you want to trade for? Is that what you want? Let me get to some of these other comments. Let me see. Preach. Appreciate it. Shane was good, man. Leading lines, the best ability is availability. Remember that. Sports Times. I was just watching a clip from Cade Ivyasar during Enrico Hines early. Yeah, hey, those runs was lit, bro. Them runs was lit. Go back and watch them. I'm excited for what's to come this summer and next season. I am too, bro. I am, bro. So excited, man. So excited. Um, Searching for Jerry Garcia. What's good, my man? What's up, bro? I enjoy your stream about the Timberwolves' future. Hey, I think it was you that asked me to do it. There was somebody asked me to do it, and I had to do it. That was one that was interesting because there's a lot of angles. There's a lot of things. People be jumping the gun. I don't think they need to jump the gun with this squad. They're in perfect position. Can y'all now see why Minnesota wanted to get out from under that Karl Anthony Towns contract? If you know there's a cap, if you know there's a ceiling to the guy you are paying the most money on your team to, and that ceiling is Western Conference Finals, that's as effective as he can be for you. He can help someone else. He can't be the guy who gets you there. He can be the guy, because like there's certain guys who can get you there, right? James Harden could get you to a Western Conference Finals, all right? He just couldn't close a Western Conference Finals to get to the NBA Finals. That's just not who he was. And that's still quality, right? Rudy Gobert is the type of center who can get you to a top 6 seed in the playoffs, right? He's just not necessarily going to be the guy who gets you into the second and third and fourth rounds, right? Um, Karl Anthony Towns is a talented player, but at that contract, at the end of it, paying him $60 million a year, and what that hit is to your salary cap, you need to know he can be your best player on a championship team, not someone at times who is unplayable. That's Karl Anthony Towns. You now understand why I said in the video throughout the summer, Minnesota Timberwolves won this trade because they got the cap flexibility. Because Julius Randle's going to opt out of his contract more than likely. And he's probably going to be getting either the same or less moving forward. But now you got 2 guys, Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle. And it still allows you to re sign Naz Reid. You now have more depth. That's significant. And you have more movable pieces that you can say down the line, there's an opportunity. I can move a Julius Randle. That contract is movable. Karl Anthony Towns' contract is not movable, bro. It's not movable. Teams are not lining up to get Karl Anthony Towns 50-something million contract. They're not. They're not, bro. So you have to ask yourself why certain people get that money in the first place. Well, because some teams they get a little anxious. It's something that I'll always repeat. I heard it and it just stuck and it stuck and it stuck in here. This cat said it's better to trade someone 1 or 2 seasons too early than it is to trade them 1 or 2 seasons too late. I'll repeat that. It's better to trade someone 1 to 2 seasons too early than it is to trade them too late. You sell high. That's that's smart. When you recognize who and what a player is and you ask yourself, is that what this player is? Can he be what we are needing? Can this player be what we're needing from them at the price point that we're either currently paying them or will have to pay them down the road? It's better to trade that guy the year before he's about to ramp it up for that contract and have the best season of his career to force you to have to potentially pay a super max or a max salary, right? When you know good and damn well he ain't worth it. Trade him early. That's what Minnesota did. They traded him when his value was high. I hope y'all are seeing this because if some of y'all look at some of these other players, somebody was pointing out Nas Reed. I think Nas Reed can play the power forward for us. It's like 6'8", just under 6'9" without shoes. 6'9", just under 6'10" with shoes. That's good. 7'3" wingspan. I think he might be mobile enough to play the 4, but he should never be your long term at the 5. That's not a good look. If Nas Reed has to start at center against Towns and Mitchell Robinson, against Joel Embiid, against Nikola Jokic, that's food. That's food. I think I'd rather have a versatile defender like PJ Washington. I'd rather go that route if I'm Detroit. Let me get to some of these other comments. Da, 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 da. Calm guy, good question. Rock, you think Sasser can bring what Dennis brings? No. I think he can bring something different. That's probably going to be more valuable for the direction this team is heading in. Cade Cunningham, Jaden Ivey, Asar Thompson will be overwhelmingly sharing the role of lead guard distributor for the Detroit Pistons for the foreseeable future, meaning that they will be running point. We need people who can play off of them and be secondary shot creators, not someone who needs the ball from them to be a primary facilitator. Sasser is the former. Schroeder is the latter. Schroeder needs the ball in his hands to be maximally effective as a facilitator. Not as good off the ball. Marcus Sasser is much better off the ball catching as a secondary shot creator and playmaker rather than a primary facilitator. Last season, without Ivy, we needed more of a facilitator. That's why Schroeder was so important for us. Going into next season with Ivy back, Asar with the full summer of training and developing that point forward skill, and Cade Cunningham, we're going to need a guard who can be a knockdown scorer. Our Chauncey Billups before he elevates to that, star level all-star point guard. We need the guy who could just come in and be a sniper. And just when you think you could just close out on him, rush him off the line. Oh yeah, he's got a bag. He's got a snatch back, get you leaning back towards the basket and pull it back and knock down a 3. He can give you the sidestep 3. He can step in, pump fake, hit a little 18-footer. He can give you a little pick and roll action, get downhill, get to the rim, finish with either hand around the rim. Really good finisher. He's got a little floater game. He can score at all 3 levels. I think he's somebody that when you turn off the facilitation side of what you're asking him, he's a damn good playmaker and shot creator. He's just lesser as a facilitator. And you guys have to understand the difference between all 3. It's really very different. Each of these roles are very different. Facilitator, your primary job is to get the team into the offense, which means you need to be able to communicate effectively what everyone needs to be doing And then you need to be able to get the entry pass to get it started. So you need to make sure the ball gets to where it needs to go first so that everything else that's already in motion continues moving, right? That is a really hard mindset if that's not natural to you or you haven't learned it over the years. You have to know when somebody is overplaying you and you have to attack them and then pull up and then get the pass and then time it based upon their proximity, how close that they're guarding you, so that you can then time getting them off of you, creating separation, and then making that first pass. But you also have to see the guy whom you have to give the ball to, that you don't want to forecast that you have to give them the ball by staring at them, but you have to be aware of them and how they're being defended so that you can time getting that space from your defender and them getting open to get them the ball. And then if everyone is too crowded, you can't be someone who doesn't have something offensively to go to just get to the rim. You got to be able to give a TJ McConnell type of deal and get you a bucket if everything's taken away. That's a tough role. What's a playmaker? A playmaker is just looking to make a play. I say that to say a playmaker is somebody who is far more focused on attacking the defense, attacking, not necessarily setting up the offense, attacking the defense, prodding the defense, looking to create an advantage through either pick and roll action, attacking their man one on one, maybe moving without the ball, getting in movement, try to get downhill, find a crease, attract a defender, create an opportunity, whether it's a shot for you or a shot for somebody else. That's a playmaker. Those guys, second nature. They're doing this thing all day, all day. They just see opportunities and angles. They attack. They attack. That's more of what a Jaden Ivey is. He's far more playmaker than he is facilitator. Cade Cunningham is the best facilitator out of the three. And then Asar is a really good facilitator as well, this playmaker. And then you have the shot creator. The shot creator is the guy who we call a bucket. He just has a nose for the basket, for figuring out the angles and opportunities to create an opportunity for them to shoot high percentage shots to give their team a chance to score. That's the Malik Monks, right? Those guys are just a bucket. I think Sasser is a bucket and a really good playmaker and below average as a facilitator. Now, that doesn't mean he doesn't make good passes when he's playmaking. I've seen him make fantastic passes off the pick and roll, skipping to the opposite corner, uh, dump offs, lobs. I think he's got a really good passing repertoire when he's getting downhill and he's on the attack. When he's on the attack, hell yeah. He can give me Peyton Pritchard. He can give me TJ McConnell when he's on the attack. He can give you that. Not so much of a facilitator when you need him to get us started and set up in our offense. All right. Do I think Sasser can give us what Schroeder did? No. He's going to give us what we need moving forward, which is what I mentioned earlier: playmaker, shot creator. Good question, though. Uh, Mamba basketball reacts was good. If the Pistons can get two legit 7 footers and move Jalen Duran to power forward, also, can a true point guard, I believe we can leapfrog Indiana and the Knicks if we get a true point guard. 7 footers. 7 footers are tricky because Miles Turner is practically a 7 footer. He's 6'11" and change. All right. He's less than an inch away from 7 feet tall. It's not always about height. It's do you play big? Miles Turner plays small. And there's not a lot of 7 footers who play big. Jarrett Allen is like 6'10". He just has a 7'5" wingspan like Jalen Duren. Right? He's got a long standing reach. He's not a 7 footer. Mobley's a 7 footer, but he's pretty light and he struggled to be durable. So I don't know if it's as simple as 7 footers. Now I do like 7 footers in the draft right now. You got Ryan Kalkbrenner, who I think might end up going a lot higher. I think he could be back into the first round, early in the second round. Boston selects, I believe, before us at 32. We're at 37. So I would not be shocked if Boston grabs him up or some of these other teams who can use a 7-foot defensive center. He's been multiple time defensive player of the year for his uh, uh, not division, his conference play. Uh, he's been a high level player for a long time. Maxime Reynaud, he's a 7-footer as well. And then you got some, 7-footers that are a little bit more raw. So I'm not sure if you're talking about the draft, but I'm betting on Jalen Duren. 6'11", 7'5" wingspan. He's a beast on the boards. Great finishing inside. I think he has so much untapped potential. But more than anything, he's got great chemistry and he has so much talent and skill and he's learning and he's growing. He's trending exactly in the direction you want to see from a 21-year-old that you got late in the lottery, that you made some moves. Troy Weaver made moves to get late in the lottery. Great job. We found our center of the future in the late lottery. How many teams are still looking for their center? We already found him, and y'all talking about trading him for Myles Turner. Go figure. Let me see. Oh, and if we get a, you said if we get a true point guard, a true point guard. I don't think you always need. What's true point guard? You just need a point guard that fits your system. You need a system that fits your point guard. If he's a score first guy, just make sure you have passing and facilitating elsewhere, whether it's through the system and style of play or it's through another player. Right? You have to figure it out in different ways. If you got a Tony Parker, you got to have a system that moves the ball a lot because he's mainly going to be focused on playmaking, not facilitating. Right? You play him to his strengths. Um, I think Kate Cunningham many times is best when it comes to scoring, starting off the ball, but at times he could be a really good facilitator for us. I do like when he starts games kind of slow and he's getting everyone else involved. And Ivy and them is getting involved, but I think it's going to be even better now with Point Asar Thompson, who's going to be able to dominate with the ball in his hands, have a lot of gravity, suck in the defense, and play make for guys like Cade Cunningham and Jaden Ivey on the weak side wings, getting wide open catch and shoot threes. I think that's going to improve their 3-point efficiency, and we're going to see a rejuvenated Cade who's hopefully healthy walking into the playoffs. And Detroit Pistons at full strength in the playoffs next year, I think, can be an Eastern Conference Finals team. And then the following year, with that experience of going deeper into the playoffs, winning rounds, 1 or 2 rounds, I think it's going to prepare them to step into their championship window the following year. I've been saying that in all my videos. Let me see. Chiefy Holiday, always good to see you, my man. Always good to see you. This past season is going to do wonders for the team's confidence. I think so too, man. I think so too. Especially because it feels like each of them kind of got shafted a little bit when it comes to awards and acknowledgement and things like that. Like, there's got to be a big chip on a lot of their shoulders. Right? Cade Cunningham getting beat out by Stephen Curry for second team All NBA. He had a better season than Steph. I'll give him that. Number 6 seed. Steph was in the play-in, right? In the back end of the play-in. He was actually kind of saved by Jimmy Butler. Cade Cunningham has been the best player on his team this entire season. Monster season. Should have been second team. So he might have a bit of a chip on his shoulder, but he's already talking about trying to be the best player in the world. So that's just extra added motivation. And then you got Jaden Ivey was surging before he had the season cut short by someone diving at his legs, trying to get a loose ball. It was a terrible play. Really cut out his ascension that was taking place. I think if he plays with Asar Thompson, Asar finally gets moved into that starting lineup. What's crazy enough, though, I'm gonna be honest with you, I think it takes longer for Asar Thompson to get into the starting lineup if Ivy stays healthy. JB has been slow to really turn things over to Asar, and I get it. Asar didn't have an off season. He had a tough road back from those blood clots. And so you don't want to put a lot on him. He was just trying to get his win most of the time. But I think that eventually Asar Thompson gets into that starting lineup. He gets in there. Maybe Tim Hardaway Jr. takes minutes away from Ron Holland because JB is partial to his veterans. I get it. He's trying to turn things around, bring some stability. And I think he would have likely had Tim Hardaway Jr. take away a lot of Ron Holland's minutes. But I think if Ivy plays with Asar Thompson, he has a tremendous year. We're looking at a potentially most improved player of the year candidate, right? So his season got cut short. So he's got a chip on his shoulder. Asar Thompson didn't play enough games to make an all defensive team, even though he was probably one of the top 5 perimeter defenders in the league. Probably Dyson Daniels, his brother Amen Thompson, LeGuins Dort, Alex Caruso. He's right there with all of them. Didn't get a chance. Didn't get a chance. Didn't play enough games. So he's got a chip on his shoulders. Duran has a chip on his shoulders, right? People still talking about trading him for Myles Turner. I'd be pissed if I'm Jalen Duren. Somebody mentioned Myles Turner to me. I'm like, look, just because I let this month shoot them threes when we first saw him throughout the season, when I was bullshitting, I told y'all I knew I was bullshitting and I needed to play harder, quit crying about stuff. You know what I mean? Like Jalen Duren is one of them big dudes who doesn't always play big, even though he's really big. He should be throwing his weight around like you see Towns doing and Mitchell Robinson doing. He hasn't quite learned how to be a bully yet. Like he's kind of like he's almost gentle giant, which I think figure out how to say this right. I want I would love for us to bring a Rasheed Wallace, a Ben Wallace into the front office, player development, stuff like that. Get on the coaching staff or something along the lines to work with Jalen Duren. Just be there on the bench with him all year, just for a solid year. Work with him. Be there in practices. All right. Even if you're just at home games, right? And you don't fly out with the team. I would love for you to be around the game, be around these guys, to tutor them, to really get Jalen Duren to learn how to play big, physical. Like you saw what Mitchell Robinson was able to do to Myles Turner, Thomas Bryant, right? Tony Bradley, right? He just threw those guys around like rag dolls. They had no chance of boxing him out, keeping him off the glass. He was a monster. Jalen Duren should be able to do that. His physical strength, athleticism, mobility, he should be a big man, 7'5" wingspan, who's just moving motherfuckers out the way. Like just moving folks out the way. Um, Hopefully we see that next season. So he should have a chip on his shoulder. I think there's gonna be plenty of guys who have all the necessary motivation to play up to their greatness. I think that's what we see next year. Let me see. I think Sasser brings what. Let me make sure. Oh no, this is. Let me go to Sports Times. No, no, I missed one. Hang on. Sorry, I'm trying not to miss y'all's comments. I'm trying not to miss y'all's comments. Mega Hustle. That's where I was at last. Okay, I agree with Rock about Marcus Smart. That guy is a piston. I'm already foreseeing great sign and trade opportunity. Let's go take a package, Tim Hardaway Jr., maybe Dennis Schroeder or something like that. Package a couple of them guards, go get Marcus Smart. Because you bring Marcus Smart into a playoff atmosphere. He's an absolute dog. He's a dog. But the thing is, he also gets the benefit of the doubt from referees. He understands how to play physical with force, but with intelligence, not get caught, to know what to do in the right moments, know how to guard up when he needs to, knows how to help on certain guys. He already knows the scouting report. He hasn't memorized because he's been around the league. He's already over 30 years old, which is kind of hard to really imagine. It feels like Marcus Smart just got drafted the other day. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm feeling an old moment, right? But he's over 30. He's experienced. He's wise. He can teach these guys, especially guys like Ron Holland, Asar Thompson, trying to become a defensive player of the year, um, all defensive team, right? Which has been multiple times, right? How do you get there? How do you learn the tricks of the trade? Marcus Smart can bring a whole lot to this team. He's definitely a Detroit basketball type of guy. Let me see. Did anyone have interest in Trey Murphy? Saw a lot of people earlier today wanting to make that trade. I mean, he would be great. I think what it cost you was Jaden Ivey and maybe future picks. Uh, Probably more. Probably more. But I see how he could fit. Play him at the three. Sar Thompson could play the two. play alongside Cade. I think he works. I think he works. Would I do it? I'll put it this way. I highly doubt New Orleans does it. Brandon Ingram's gone. They made that move to clear space for Trey Murphy. That's a hard sell to then trade Trey Murphy for a guard. Granted, it's in a position of need at the point, and they need someone who's dynamic. So that could be a thought. That could be a thought. But honestly, I'm here for continuity, and I love that Ivy is a Detroit native. He has roots here. He's not a native, but he has roots here, family here. He's bought into the city, to the team. I like him for this team, and I like keeping guys around. It's the Oklahoma City type of feel where it's like, yo, these guys is homegrown. Remember, we took Jaden Ivey over Benedict Mathurin, man. We bet on him to be every bit of a star that we thought he could be when people were talking about could he end up number 1, number 2 pick in his draft with Paulo and Chet and Jabari Smith Jr. and those guys, right? I believe in his talent, and I'd rather double down on what's working than second guess myself and do something else. I think that's just kind of like fun conversation trade talk in regards to Trey Murphy. Um, Let me see. Leading Lions. I think Sasser brings what Nimhard and TJ McConnell does for Pacers. Nothing wrong with having extra guards. I don't understand why we think we can only that we only need 2 or 3 combo guards. I feel you on that. I feel you on that. I eventually think that Ron Holland will be able to play guard as well, a lot more, bringing the ball up, doing some playmaking. He makes good decisions off the bounce, gets downhill really well, has a lot of gravity, good finisher. Um, I think he could be really good for us playing a guard position as well. I do think that Marcus Sasser definitely gives you Peyton Pritchard, TJ McConnell, uh, Andrew Nimhard type of a vibe. I think he's a dog on defense. He's a guy who's going to get up into you. I really wish JB Biggerstaff would give him a shot, a real shot, and that Trajan Langdon would also give him a real shot. I think he's worth it. But I would still draft my man Chaz Lanier. I like him as well a lot. I also like this other cat, Cam Jones out of Marquette. I like him a lot. Two-way player. He's a dog. Uh, got asked to do more facilitating, playmaking this past year, after some guys left into the draft the previous year. He stepped up in a major way, was his team's captain. I always like guys who are captains and leaders of their team, who also are like all conference guys who play really well. Like for you to have leadership and uh, talent and skill, I think those are all great. Those are all great signs to bring that type of a guy into an organization. Let me see what else. Let me see. Get to some of these before I drop off. Hey, what do you want to see the Pistons grab in the second round? Yeah, I just mentioned it. I like Cam Jones and I like Chaz Lanier in the draft. But there's some other guys. Kid from North Carolina. Um, I don't think Cedric Howard is going to be available, but he's a nice pickup as well. Cedric Howard is a really he's got some nice tools to work with. Um, where's my other Adu Thero? I like Adu Thero as well. Uh, like 6'7" and a half, 6'8". Think Tari Eason type. More athletic, less of off the bounce, getting to the rim, but still a great athlete. And I think we need some more athletes on the wing as well. Um, just for insurance, so we can go deeper in terms of wing depth. Uh, I definitely like Chaz Lanier, Alex Tui, nah, Sion James. He's cool. Drake Powell from North Carolina. I like him. I like him. I like him. But I think he also plays a lot like Ron Holland. So it's a bit of a duplicate. But he's got a 7-foot wingspan, um, measures in about 6'6", close to 6'7" with shoes. So very similar size prototype, very athletic, wing, can guard up and down. Um, yeah, I like him a lot. I think he can bring some definite depth to this team. And then that's kind of, I definitely like Jameer Watkins. I like Jameer Watkins, man. I liked him a lot, man. Yeah, but other than that, if I look at bigs, Hanson Yang is a name that's getting a lot of talk, but I don't think we need another center. I think not Patrick Williams, shit, Isaiah Stewart is more than the backup center that we need. So I don't think we need to bring in another one. And we still got Tolu Smith, who's like 6'11 and a half, close to 7 feet, 275, 280 pounds. Like he's just like big, good footwork, fundamental, player. Just needs to catch up to the speed of the game. But he had some big games in the G League. I think he'll be ready to kick in next year. So that's what I kind of see for us with that number 37 pick. I don't want Janai Broom. Stay away from him. A lot of these Europeans, Ben Seraph, stay away from him. Noah Penda is solid. Is solid, but not that. I'm just saying. I don't know if he's Detroit basketball. But yeah, yeah, that's draft talk. What else we got? Let me see. Let me see. Casio IRL, it's been a minute, man. What's good, man? How do you feel about a guy like Rasheed Fleming to Detroit? I don't think he's going to be available. Rasheed Fleming he's getting rave reviews. The draft profile 6'8", close to 6'9", 7'3" wingspan, can shoot the air out the ball, plays with a lot of force and energy, athleticism, uses his athleticism and length really well in so many other ways, whether it's rebounding or defense, deflections, switchability, getting deflections and steals. Like he's such a great talent for that mid to late lottery position. I don't see how there's any way he falls to us, and I don't think there's anything I'm willing to give up to move up to get him. That makes sense. I think I'd rather just trade for Patrick Williams. Not I keep saying Patrick Williams. PJ Washington. PJ Washington. Not Patrick. God, don't. No Patrick Williams. No. Let me see. Calm guy was good. You right on rock. People forget everyone was saying Steph was washed and begging him to retire in the beginning of the season. It's very true. They were. Chiefy Holiday, I seen somewhere Ron Holland and Smart are cousins. Really? I hadn't heard that. I hadn't heard that. I do know that Cade Cunningham and Ron Holland are from the same neighborhood. So they got that chemistry growing up together. But see what else. Cassio, I like Cam Jones in the draft for a little bit, but it doesn't look like he has enough moves to really handle the rock. Okay. It's kind of a cool discussion. I like Cam Jones. Some guys have moves that are unstoppable moves for them. Some guys have moves that they've been going to since they picked up the ball. Cam Jones, in getting to his left, that spin back from his right to his left, may seem like just this move he gets to all the time, but I think it's a move that translates well to allow him to be effective to get downhill and finish. He's got good measurements, good size, decent length, but he's got great touch. Seems to be a dog. He's about what 6'4", 6'5", combo guard. I think he fits between Sasser and Ron Holland. He'll give us defense for sure playing at Marquette. He's a pretty good facilitator, which is also why I like Jameer Watkins. They have similar roles this past season. One for Florida State. The only difference is Jameer Watkins is 6'7" with the 6'11" wingspan, which is why I kind of like him a lot. Like sleeper pickup, like sleeper. He ain't the shooter that Chaz Lanier is, nowhere near. But he does so many other like, bro, like I think Jameer Watkins can be Aaron Neesmith, bro. Now, Neesmith was a shooter out of Vanderbilt who had to reinvent himself as a defender, as a physical, athletic wing defender. But you see how valuable that is right now. He's their starting small forward. He is invaluable to them. When he is on the court, they are 10 times better because of his defensive ability to get out in transition and to knock down threes. I think Jameer Watkins, in a reduced role, playing off of other guys, his three-point shooting percentage goes up because he's shooting a better quality of three-point shot, right? Kickouts, catch and shoot, playing off of Cade, Ivy, and Asar, maybe even Ron Holland and Marcus Sasser. He's also older. He's 23 years old. So I think that he has a lot of maturity. And I think Cam Jones is also older as well, coming out after his junior year. But all that's to say is I think both of them are really good pickups. Like I really, and this might be a conversation for later. It's a fun conversation that NIL has helped out the quality of the draft so much because you're weeding out dudes who should not be there. When I say should not be there, I mean really young players after their freshman year thought they were going to be a one and done, thought they were going to explode onto the scene and didn't. But they still have a lot of potential and their name still has buzz around it. And so they try to maximize that because what they're really betting is that the money in the short run will be worth the long term potential of me not being able to have a career in the NBA versus going back to school, not getting paid anything. And then I fade away, don't have another good year. And then now I have no draft buzz. And now I'm getting nothing and also I never get into the NBA, right? That's how things used to be. That's why you had a lot of guys in the draft, late lottery, second round, who had a lot of talent, potential, but it never panned out because they weren't ready. But they wanted to make sure they maximized the opportunity to get paid. And I could point to so many guys whom that was the situation, right? Like how much better would Cam Reddish have been if he had stayed another year and figured himself out before coming to the NBA? Right? How much better would a lot of these guys have been? I think about big men like BJ Mullins back in the I'm dating myself now. These young guys who come in, a Jonathan Bender, Anthony Randolph from LSU, went to the Golden State Warriors, Perry Jones the third, right? All these really young, talented guys who basically were like, man, I can't miss my window. I have to make, even if it's just one contract, I have to make the most of this opportunity. And they do, and they flame out, but they still got paid. Now with NILs, there's a buffer. They can go to the NCAA, ball out and get paid, go into the portal, and they don't have to stick around in the draft when they're not ready. Right? Tahad Pettiford played in the I appreciate that leading Lions. Definitely want to talk more about the draft kit play style and what would add to this team. Yeah, definitely for sure. I'm doing a draft conversation later on. Appreciate you showing up, man. I always appreciate seeing y'all. Y'all are dope to hang out and chop it up. This is like hanging out in the barbershop, man. I could do this all day. Let's get a nice little lineup, you know what I'm saying? Watch the edges, leave the front, you know what I mean? Right, a little bit on the side, line it up, but not too dark. I leave the mustaches, y'all be cutting the shit out of me. I got it. Right. Barbershop life. Uh what was I talking about? Yeah, some of these kids, sorry, not kids, some of these young men, and I think it's important to differentiate that. These are young men making these decisions about am I gonna be in the portal, the draft. We have to call them men because we have to consider the language we use around them because many times through mainstream outlets, it's derogatory when it comes to these young black men getting money. Then all of a sudden they got an issue with it. It's the wild, wild west. It's crazy out here. Every kid, they're just getting cashed out and all this money. Who was getting the money before then? Was it just not flowing or was it flowing to somebody else's hands? Because when the universities was building a new wing, they ain't won in forever. And they're building new wings from this basketball football team money and these TV deals and changing conferences. When they was getting paid, wasn't nobody calling that the Wild West, talking about how wild it was. Oh, this coach is getting paid millions and left his team high and dry to go get paid even more at this other organization or this other school. Right? Nobody was saying anything about Wild West then. All of a sudden, these young men who are doing the actual playing. Like I don't know if any of y'all have ever ran. I'm gonna give y'all an example. I play some JUCO ball. Basically, I tell you all the time, JUCO is where D1 players go who don't have grades. And usually when they don't have grades, it's like egregious. Like it's not 1.8, 1.9. Like they at 1.3. They never went to class, bro. They never went to class. Right? They had to talk the PE teacher into giving them an A, even though he didn't dress out, type of deal. Like that's but we had dudes who was like 6'10 from Texas, 7'4, 7'5 wingspan, could literally touch the top of the backboard. He could shoot threes. He could outrun all the guards. And I was fast. I was fast. I was outrunning everybody. There wasn't nobody outrunning me. And this dude was right there with us. He was just a knucklehead, you know. Spent all his Pell Grant money, supposed to be paying for his books and class and his rent. Bought Jordans and got tattoos. It's crazy. All I have to say is, I want to give you a general outlook on a college level workout day. This is just general, general. Talking preseason, coach ain't mad at us yet. General, 6 a.m. practice. We start at 6 a.m., which means you got to get up by 4 a.m. so you can get to the gym by 5 a.m. So if you need to get your ankles wrapped, you see the trainer, you get there in time before you need to be on the court at least 10 to 15 minutes before 6 a.m. You need to be lined up and ready to go because you're fighting for your spot. So you got to be ready, locked in, 6 a.m. Practice ends, if it's going well, by 8ish. If it's going well. If it's not, you might be there till about 9, and your first class is at 9:15, 9:30, and you're still expected to get into the class on time. So that means you ain't even shower. You musty as hell for that first class. Then you got practice at 3 o'clock. Ready by 3 o'clock, which means you've already set up your schedule to where you have a buffer. Your last class is ending. That's the 1:45. So you have a little bit of time to eat something, get ready. Once again, taped up, stem treatment, right? Working on soreness, messed up ankles, stuff like that, right? You're dressed for practice, got your shoes on, everything for practice at 3. You might not even go into the gym for those early practices. We was on the track early on. We'd be running miles on the track, sprints up and down the field, the football field, up and down, up and running around. We get into the basketball gym, we get to the gym, we're running sprints. Coach, anything, everything. Get on the line, get on the line, get on the line. I don't know if any of y'all ever ran they're called 17s, right? Where you're on the whatchamacallit, you're on the sidelines and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, right? That's what you have to do. You got to do that in like less than 3 minutes, 2 minutes, right? You're doing stuff like that. Practice might go till about 5 or 6 o'clock. I know I'm rambling, but appreciate y'all. And if practice goes good, you end at 5, 5:30. If practice doesn't go good, you might go to 9 o'clock. I shit you not. I shit you not. You might go to 9 o'clock. You might have a game and you guys have a bad game. You get back from a road game or a home game. The coach says, we're practicing. Full practice. You might not leave the gym till 11 o'clock at night. Come back the next day for a 6 a.m. practice. It's a full-time fucking job. It's a full-time job. So when I say that these dudes deserve the money, and we got to be careful about these mainstream people talking about uh, that it's the wild, wild west. We got to be like, bruh, the dudes who are blowing out their knees, the dudes who are dislocating their shoulders, dudes who are rolling their ankles, right? The dudes who are diving on the floor, boxing out, dealing with upperclassmen who are like 24 years old, trying to box them out, fighting every single practice, every single game. The dudes with blood, sweat, and tears are finally getting paid. Don't tell me about no Wild Wild West. All that's getting revealed is how much money was actually always there, and somebody else was getting it, and it didn't look like those players. Let me get to these last comments. Um, yeah, what's good, what's good, what's good? Are you a social worker, therapist, something like that, something like that? That's my daytime job. That's my daytime job. This is my alternate universe life. Cause from here, I get to just talk shit. I ain't gotta be serious, bro. Ain't shit about this serious. But it's fun though. Stephen B was good, man. Ron Holland video soon, bro. Yo, you ready for that? You ready for that? You ready for that? Looking forward to go to school soon. Okay. Are you going into college, Leading Lions? You going into college? What's up? What's good? Yeah, Ron Holland video. Stefan, yo, it's coming. It's coming. I think Ron Holland doing a review on his season and what to expect for next year, I think is worthwhile. I think we also have to be aware of that Trajan Langdon has made a full commitment to seeing what he has in Ron Holland because I think that there's a potential opportunity that he's going to ask him to step into a bigger role next year. I would not be shocked if he asked him to step into a bigger role, be the first wing off the bench. I told y'all, like, I'm really okay with running this thing back. I want to upgrade our veterans to support the young guys, Marcus Sasser included, and Isaiah Stewart. Right? Let's upgrade that power forward position. Let's upgrade that wing, veteran position. But I don't want them to take minutes away from Sasser, Holland, Stewart. I want those guys getting plenty of run. I think Bobby Clinton has a lot of potential. He has to come in hot if he's going to carve out a spot. Otherwise, there's so many other options that we can go with. So many other options. But yo, this has been a dope stream. It's been a dope stream. Appreciate y'all jumping on with me. It's your man 100 Grand Ross with The Rock Never Stops. If you enjoy these live streams, these interactive chats, definitely smash the like button, hit subscribe and the bell for notifications. Lets the YouTube algorithm know that you enjoy my channel and that you want to be notified the next time I do a live stream and we get to chop it up like me in the barbershop. You feel me? With that, y'all have a great weekend. I'm gonna get some fucking sleep. And I'm out. Peace.